Today I'm in the room with Dean Davidson and Fernando Fontinelle, the creative forces behind Dean Davidson Jewelry. Their stunning designs have been worn by celebrities all over the world, everyone from Adele to Sandra Bullock to Jennifer Lopez and even Oprah. I'm taking you with me as I join them inside the beautiful Dean Davidson boutique here in Toronto as I chat with them about how Dean started the brand over 15 years ago, how they share a mutual passion of travel and design, and what it's like to really work with your partner. Let's go inside. Thanks so much for having me today. Great to see you. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful in here. Well, thank you so much for being in the room with me. I'm excited to be here with you guys in your beautiful boutique space. So this is fun because we just did a little tour and I love it. I'm wearing pieces today from the Dean Davidson collection. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the gorgeous pieces that I have on? I mean, I love this ring. I love the bracelet, my necklace, and the earrings.
You look beautiful.
You do, yeah. We're wearing kind of an assortment of different collections. Your earrings are from our Manhattan collection, which is our best-selling collection inspired by Manhattan and the industrial feeling of Manhattan. And then you have pieces on from our Petit Pavé collection, the necklace and your ring.
The necklace is just, these are fabulous. They have a little sparkle, which I love.
The Mara bangle.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's one of our latest releases inspired by our travels around the world.
So pretty. We were just talking about how silver is having a comeback too. And I was such a gold girl and now I'm like venturing back into the silver world, and I like it.
Yeah,
it's amazing. We've seen the shift, and I think people are also like mixing metals a lot more now, wearing gold and silver. But yeah, definitely a huge comeback for silver.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm super excited to dive into a conversation, but I want to start with asking you guys. So you're both actually not originally from Toronto, but you have a love of Toronto. But I want to go back to where each of you are from and a bit more about your families and your upbringing.
Great. Well, I'll go first because I come from far away.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm actually originally from Brazil,
Yes.
as we have talked about it. You've been to Brazil yourself.
I love Brazil.
So northern part of Brazil for me. So a place called São Luís in the province of Maranhão, which is a really beautiful place up north, right in between like the coast and the Amazon. So,
oh, wow.
But close to the equator, so hot all year, hot with rain and hot with no rain.
Wow, very different from here.
Very different from here. And I moved here about 18 years ago now to study English and pursue my education. And yeah, that's
wow. So 18 years now, Toronto's been home for you.
It's been home for me.
Okay, and Dean?
I grew up on a dairy farm in a very rural part of Manitoba.
Wow.
Yeah, very small town, middle of nowhere. And then went on to live in Calgary for a period of time, southern Alberta first actually, and then Calgary, and then called Toronto home for around 18 years as well.
And what brought you here?
Work, essentially. So when I launched my first solo collection, that's when I moved from Calgary to Toronto. And then, and then prior to that, I worked in agriculture. So like
completely different.
Yeah, like it's like I lived two different lives.
Amazing. Different chapters of one life. Yeah. And how did you guys meet?
Well, we have two stories that we tell people.
Oh, yeah. Which one are we going to get? Okay.
We're going
the real one or the...
Yeah, I want the real one.
We're going to tell the real story, which is, you know, both parts of the story we tell people. So we actually met, first we knew of each other because of the industry. So I worked at Holt Winfrey. I was working at the Prada store in Holt's for many years, and Dean's Jewelry was carried at Holt's. That was the most prominent retailer, I think, to distribute the jewelry at that time. So Dean would come for personal appearances. So I've known of him and whatnot. And my friend Cynthia, now a common friend of ours, loved Dean's work, and she was buying a ring for her mother, and the castle ring, I never forget, is still a very iconic ring for us. So she had me over the display to take a look at the rings, and I was like, oh wow, this work is beautiful. But time went by, and you know, like life goes on. We meet online. So that's the real story.
That's the real story.
Yeah, we met online.
So you actually met in person technically, but you met online officially, really.
Yes.
And that was the early days of people meeting online.
Yes.
This is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago. So very early days. So you would actually go on dates, and I think at that time you would still probably go out and meet someone at the bar, which
Yes.
you probably don't do anymore. Very rarely, I guess, that happens in this day.
Yeah.
But we started chatting, and we went on our first date, and we talked for hours on end until like the sun came up, and
I love that.
we felt so connected, like in terms of our intellect and our brain and what we appreciated in life. And I was immediately in love with what he did.
Yeah.
Like
and even before, I mean, appreciating probably
Appreciated.
style.
Yeah.
You worked in
I worked
Prada,
in the retail industry.
Yeah.
I was very much immersed in what was going on with fashion. But, you know, when you meet someone like Dean, that's the real deal. Like that is the actual designer who is grinding to make a business out of a passion,
Yes.
you know, out of a creativity, and who is doing all of the things, right? And so it was like, whoa, this is incredible. I just want to be a part of it. I want to help. I want to do whatever I can. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Sweet.
It is a lot of fun.
That's such a nice story. And it's true, because back then, like, I met my husband in person, but it was right when the apps were coming out. And I think I only went on like one date from an app. And I was like, oh gosh. So nowadays, I mean, all my single girlfriends are like, this is the worst. So yeah.
And then you quietly think, I know.
I know.
Yeah. I'm lucky.
Exactly. And it's kind of nice because you had the in-person familiarity. So there's like a bridge there where you do meet online, but you're like, oh, I actually am familiar with you from our encounter in person.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, I want to get into the business a bit in terms of how that even started. Like, where did this idea of having your own jewelry brand come from?
Yeah, and you know, it was never like a thought growing up. Like I had no inclination that I wanted to work in the field of design or be a jewelry designer. I was always interested in creative field, and I knew that like I had a longing for to work in that or to be involved in the creative field somehow, but there was no clear direction growing up where I grew up. And so it was just, I took courses in graphic design in Calgary, and just to try and find my way. And it was actually one of the first big trips I went on. I'd been interested about traveling around the world and just different cultures and people from around the world. And I wanted a trip to South Africa with my first partner. And I spent a month and a half in Europe and South Africa.
Amazing.
And for me, that was just kind of a transformative trip, and just realizing how much I loved, you know, that experience and just the culture and the people and all of the things. And I bought a bracelet in the market in Cape Town, brought it back to Calgary. I was living at the time, and that's where it all started. I sat down and I bought all the supplies from Michael's craft store, and I started making these bracelets.
Wow.
And I used my graphic design skills to make Dean Davidson tags. And I approached a store that I shopped at, and they took them on consignment, and that's how the brand was born.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a story. It's like that little spark that just turns into, and it's like when you have the momentum too. I think when you see something and you trust your gut enough to be like aligned with it, to say, okay, well, now I'm going to follow this nudge, because you could have easily just been like, well, that's interesting, but this has nothing to do with my past, or you could talk yourself out of those things. So for you to then carry that momentum forward to actually go and launch it, I think that is what builds like a beautiful brand.
It was serendipitous, and I ended up getting introduced to a clothing designer, and I traveled the world with him. I designed jewelry to complement his clothing collection.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was picked up by Holt Renfrew across Canada, and we went to LA Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Paris.
Wow.
And then during that time, that's where I really fell in love with it, and I came to understand that I knew this is what was meant for my life. And so I took silversmithing courses at ACAD in Calgary, and just kind of learned the fundamentals of it. And I found a brush bead, actually, and it was in another collection at a show. We were in Paris. And so I found a manufacturer through Alibaba, and that made these brush beads. And so then I started developing my first collection. And it was based on freedom from this life and job and everything that I've been working in. And So I moved to Toronto and launched my first solo collection, and Winfrey picked up that collection across Canada.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
It's pretty incredible.
and that was And
if
then
you
I went.
look at pictures of the pieces that he was making at that time by hand, like it's unbelievable. Like the no formal training in jewelry making I think before silversmithing, but just the level of intricacy, and I think to his own detriment at the time, because like imagine whole Winfrey is going, I love this, make me 15
more
units. Yes, and so he's like,
like wait a
sec, for each piece. But
it was all wire work, so I would sit there for hours with wire, make these super intricate pieces.
Oh my god!
And then that's whole Winfrey would order 5, and I did.
Well, and at the time, I can imagine whole Winfrey ordering, like that's such a incredible retailer to reach out. Yeah. How did you know? Did you know what sort of level of jewelry you wanted in terms of, you know, who you're appealing to, your target demographic, or at that time were you just like, I'm going to create beautiful pieces and hope that this turns into something?
I knew that I had to create something that was at that level, and everything that I presented, it had to be. And if I look back to that very first lookbook that I presented to them, it's as strong as what we put out today. I put so much passion into every single detail of every piece in that collection. It was actually one of the strongest collections. Like if you see the pieces today, it would work perfectly with what we
very much the DNA
that's
of what
really cool because it's timeless. So it really becomes, and that's what you're saying, the ring. It's like it's carried on all these years. It's still timeless pieces that you kind of want to collect and own.
We'll go to events with our retail partners now, and there'll be clients coming in with pieces from that era, and they're so proud that they still have these like sterling silver pieces that being made by hand, and they look so beautiful, and they're just like so excited. And it's amazing to see how like the DNA has translated over the years and how amazing those pieces look with what we're doing now.
That's so special.
It's really, really great.
I had a really distinctive look that I've stayed true to throughout this whole journey. And I think that's what has also helped with the success. It's in the early stages, I used this brush finish, and that wasn't widely used, and I remember people telling me in the beginning, this isn't going to fly. You're not going to succeed with it. That's always
one of those stories. You know, you have your naysayers, and you're like, I believe in this.
Yeah, it's going to. And so I stuck to it, and then that's what made me stand out.
Oh, amazing.
So like instinct has always been such a big thing for Dean.
Yeah. And I think that's like true of anyone that's good at their craft or good at, you know, what they do or have a passion behind it, because I really think it comes down to knowing yourself and knowing what you're putting out into the world and not following trends or just chasing something because you think it's going to work versus staying true to yourself. And that also creates that longevity with a brand as well. So how did you get to then work together? So you obviously met, and, you know, you said you met online, but then when did you decide to actually join Dean in working alongside him?
So it was a crazy time, because I was at the time I had gone back to Ryerson, now TMU, and I was finishing my business degree. I was working at Prada full time, and I had very little time for anything else. So even the fact that we met, I think it worked for that reason too, because we weren't looking for it.
Yes. I definitely believe in that.
Both of us were kind of in that stage in our lives. We were like, okay, we've had enough of relationships.
Yes.
And we were like, I'd kind of given up on the whole thing, and then and him as well. So
we made peace with the fact that maybe this wasn't for us.
And then that's when it all opens and unlocks.
It
this
sounds
is exactly
so,
what happened with my husband.
We
were both not looking for relationships, and in that moment we met each other. And it's because your guard is down. Like you're not worried. You're just like going out and
everything.
Exactly. There's no agenda.
There was no agenda. So we were so focused. Like Dean was really working hard at expanding the wholesale presence of the business and really doing great things in the U.S. market, attending all of the trade shows and whatnot. And I was busy with school and work. So what was so cool about it is that maybe we didn't see each other all the time right away, but whenever we did see each other, we were talking about all of these exciting things and jumping up and down because of these opportunities, or like this Vogue magazine cover, or this letter from Anna Wintour, or like these very exciting things that were happening.
We're gonna have to get back to that.
Yes, yes. We'll make sure that you have a preview of that. But it's like all of these things that were happening, they were so amazing, they were so exciting. And I think at that time, it was something like anyone who was around would wanted to be a part of it somehow, wanted to help, wanted to be involved, because it was so amazing to see this guy following his drive and his passion and doing crazy, amazing things with very little resource, right? So I started going to the trade shows in New York and helping on the weekends. So I would be flying, let's say on a Thursday, and we would set up to the trade show. I would fly back on a Sunday so I could write a midterm on Monday morning, and then go straight to like Holtz to work that shift at Prada. It was a crazy time, but we had so much fun. So doing this trade show support thing, I kind of started to meet the accounts, and I noticed like we had so many new accounts come up all the time and say, wow, you're creating something beautiful. I love this. There's so much intention. There's your design, your quality, everything. And so I was like, we attract all of these great new accounts all the time. But then just due to resources and actually having people to manage the relationship, they will, fall off. If they could carry it for a season, but then nobody communicated and whatnot. So I started doing that on whatever free time I had and kind of made a job for myself.
Cool.
So there was this start of our wholesale department in the Dean Davidson business. And I think together we built so many beautiful relationships with these retailers and store owners who are now, like, many of them are really close friends.
I can imagine,
And that's kind of how it all started. And then design was a big part of it, because that's where this is where we connect in a way that it's so special and so personal. It's kind of like coming home to us, right? We go on these trips and we design collections inspired by it. But we always say, like, if we are going through a period of time where we're super busy and we are, on the road, going to all of these trunk shows or doing a lot of social events and meeting people, the thing we crave the most and we always try to accomplish right after that is a night at home where the two of us get a bottle of wine. We make a beautiful charcuterie board and play really great music, and then just have a great design section. And I would tell you, most of the incredible things we have done to date were ideas that came out of nights like that.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. You like painted the picture for me, because I feel like it's so easy to get caught up when you're so busy and you have a full schedule and a full life. Like and especially being partners in work and business and life, it becomes very hard to then create that time and carve it out. And I was going to ask you about those sort of rituals that keep you grounded and fulfilled. And I love that you do that, because I think it's amazing to come off of sort of, it's like a high of running around, meeting all these people, like doing all this work, but then you come down to this intimate life where it's the two of you, it's good music, it's charcuterie, it's wine, and you're just letting it like seep in. And if you don't have those moments, then you really can't get back to that momentum again.
It's like productivity versus like connectivity. Like we need to connect for reasons other than, producing something. Absolutely. And that's where it gets us on track.
Let go of the stress for a moment and just
be,
right? I think that those are the moments we enjoy the most.
And I think that's so beautiful, because it's all your hard work that you're both doing it together and it's paying off, but what's the point if you're not getting those moments?
Totally. And travel does that a lot for us too.
Yes, I know you have a shared love of travel and design, and I want to get into all of that. So first, tell me about actually your home, because I know your homes are beautiful, just like your boutique. All of your design and your taste is obviously amazing. But you recently moved into a new home and you did a bit of renovation to it to make it your own. It's been featured in publications and stuff like that. So tell me a bit about your process on designing that, and how do you approach something that's personal in terms of design?
I think we're fortunate because we have a similar aesthetic and like when it comes to design, and that we like the same thing. Like it's like we work very well together, and I think that the home is another passion of ours. We've now had 2 properties that we've worked on together, and seen them through, and it's just been a joy. Like we both love
hours on end, like curating every single
every single
you're into like it's like the table to the coffee table book to the candles, like everything in there.
And hours, like we will spend hours in bed at night looking through, every single,
It's very intentional. Like people always like, they like joke, but it's a thing that all of our friends know. They're like, every single thing has a reason why it's there for you. Like you've got a candle, but then there is a little box beside it. If you open, there matches were in there, and like a place for the blanket. But it looks like a very intentional like sculpture, and it's all so thought out. But I think we take so much pride in that.
Yeah, and when you probably walk into your home, it's like a side. Exactly. You're just like, it's your escape from the crazy world that can, be out there, and allows you to just like come back to home and feel grounded again.
And I will say, like, we both come from very humble backgrounds. Like, we didn't grow up with any of that. And we work really hard for everything we have. But I think that when we realized that we wanted to do things this way, it was when we would travel and stay in these beautiful properties around the world. It was part of the trip, was experiencing that, and the level of curation and detail and in the service and everything. And so I think we were always so inspired by that, and just wanted to get back home and bring a little piece of that somehow. So the first opportunity we had to design our first space together, we had purchased this cottage property in the Cuartas, and we were working with incredible bones. Like the previous owner had impeccable taste, and we were very fortunate to have this Viceroy, beautiful mid-century modern home that we got to just do the portion of it that's the most fun, which is to decorate. So we did it all along.
I love it.
And every room had almost like a theme in terms of how we approached it. So that was the beginning of it all. And then the loft was a bigger project. We did a lot of renovation and changing things around, which can be a bit stressful, but definitely worth it.
Do you guys ever fight over design decisions? Because this is like a common thing with couples. It's, of course, even if you share the same taste, there's still like opinions that are involved.
Yes.
We do. We definitely have had disagreements when it comes to that, but we always settle on and we always know whether we know when the other one is right.
So you know what's worth fighting for.
Even though
you still have to put up a fight, because
you still have to,
because you kind of have to, you gotta back yourself up a little bit, even though no, that wasn't a great idea.
And then the other person knows now. Even we've got to a point too now where right away, like you're like suggest something, and you're like, okay, no, you're right. That's the
totally. And I think that, we have to remember, I'm Brazilian. Like, there is a fire situation.
Passion is real. Yes.
So
even if it's just about a wall sconce.
So I would drive the point home quite fiercely, but Dean is very grounded and calm, and but precise. Like, he was talking about his early days in design and how he didn't have like a target audience, but everything he's always done has been like so elevated and so like to the best of his ability. So that's the same way he approaches this stuff as well. So we go back and forth. I love vintage, and the shabby chic is something that I find really interests me, where Dean just even the way he dresses and how streamlined he is, very clean. So this has been where we kind of brought the two worlds together.
That's a great alignment between both of those worlds.
And we've gathered all of these beautiful objects from home on our travels too. Amazing. So we've got this, and that our home is kind of a mix of all of these.
It's your stories that you're telling too then throughout your home, which is extra special.
We can have a dinner party conversation that will just be about like where we got all of these things that are on the table, like our tabletop. We would do crazy things like go to Morocco and bring a suitcase full of dishes.
I love that. I bring dishes from everywhere, and it's like, how many dishes can one own? But there's never too many dishes. I love it, and I think it's beautiful because you're collecting memories over time. And you mentioned dinner parties, and it's funny because we actually met through mutual friends at a dinner party, a beautiful dinner party that they hosted as well. And I wanted to ask you guys about cultivating friendships, because I think that it's so beautiful that you've been able to create this community that you have of friends, and you guys travel together and you have these beautiful dinner parties. And do you enjoy hosting at home? I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you actually like to host at home? And B, just how do you cultivate this like strong community of friendships, especially when you are so busy and you're running your own business, and that takes time too?
I think the group of friends we have now, everybody's in the same wavelength. Everybody is living a similar life, and so we connect on that level. And our love of travel and the freedom that we have in our lives to be able to do so, I think it's been a big part of it. And just, it's, you get together with those people, you have great conversation that never ends. And we found that as well with our friends. It's just like this really tight-knit group of people that we love spending time with. No
tension, no drama. And it's hard to travel in a group, right?
Yes.
So we're very blessed that we can do that, because it's complicated, because everybody has a different need and different things they like to do when they travel. So we're very accommodating, and I feel like we get to do a little bit of we get to experience it through the lenses of every single one of us, but without making that an agenda. It just kind of flows.
That's special though, because I have seen some of your group trips, which look epic. They look amazing. Everything, it's funny because it reminds me of your home or your jewelry or the way you design things, like even your trips, from the places you're staying to what you guys are wearing to what you're doing. Like everything seems so thoughtful and intentional. But I was curious as to how you even plan these group trips. Like, how does one even go about getting that all to coordinate so seamlessly when you are dealing with like lots of opinions and stuff? Is it like one person's taking control of planning the trip, or how do you guys do it?
It's a combined effort, but there's always like so many destinations that we couldn't tackle all of them. So when we go on a trip, like we're going to Brazil for New Year's, and a portion of that trip, we're meeting our group for New Year's in the northern part of Brazil, like really beautiful spot. And before we get there is already conversations about like several other trips that are happening next year. So we don't always, there's always like these plans, and there's like no real hard deadline for it to happen. But as soon as we settle on a place, we have a couple of our friends, like Carmen is a saint. She is so organized.
Yeah, and she's the one who kind of plans everything. And she's so good at it.
She's really great at that. And then Trevor is also really great at planning, and he travels a ton, so he goes a bunch of places and whatnot. And then everybody kind of sprinkles in what they would like to do. And
is this all on a group chat?
Yeah,
it's all in the group.
The group chat is just popping off with lots of ideas of travel and things to do.
We create group chats for each trip.
Oh, that's fun.
Because sometimes one friend won't
be part of.
So there's like themed trips that every trip is a chat. So
oh my gosh, that would make me look forward to checking my phone. Having group chats on all the trips. That's awesome.
You see the little flag for whatever country, and you're like, oh, that's great. Let's see what everybody's saying.
We all have a shared appreciation for the details. Like when we talked about entertaining, we love to entertain. And it's like every single last detail. We have all of these different objects that we've collected from around the world, whether it's the board that we're using for the charcuterie, or it's all of those little things, and that's how they all live their lives as well. So when we come together, it's this beautiful experience, because you're sharing this kind of common interest, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. And there's such an appreciation for it, because I think that's what matters. When you said you're on the same wavelength, it makes a difference, because even as someone who hosts a lot of dinner parties and things, it's always nice when you invite people over that also host, because they totally understand what goes into thoughtfully curating everything from the playlist to the food to the drinks to how you're going to have the evening flow. And I find that, you have to kind of have that to understand that shared appreciation of it. So I think that does make for a really strong connection, because then someone is obsessing over the board that you're putting the cheese on, whereas other people might just overlook it, and you're like, do you know where this came from? It matters so much to me.
Totally.
I want to go back to chatting about travel, because it has had such an influence on obviously your designs and the jewelry, but your lifestyle as well. So what are some of your favorite places that you guys have traveled to, having traveled to so many countries, and you stay in, you know, sometimes gorgeous properties. And yeah, tell me about your most memorable experiences, your favorite countries that you even like love to return back to.
Oh my gosh, I think like I used to have a hard time saying this, but for sure Africa. Like I could go back hundreds of times and never get tired, and always, I'm sure, learn something new. But yeah, the experience of going, I think the entire trip was incredible. I would love to spend more time in South Africa too, but going to Kenya and, you know, getting to, Dean had done some earlier work with Maasai tribe in, yeah, so the women in this female corporate, they created beads for a collection that was part of Oprah Age project.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And so years later, we got to go and meet these women and talk to them and hear their stories and sit with them and have lunch.
It was incredible.
In their homes. And yeah, it was really
special.
A life-changing experience that we really cherished. And from there, we went to the Kenyan coast to a place called Lamu and stayed at the Paponi Hotel, which is like this 100-year-old colonial property that is in a little town that is so ancient.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
In the most beautiful, set in the most beautiful beach, and it felt like little heaven. So I would love to go back to these places. But yeah, I think otherwise, love India, had the most incredible time there. Morocco, would love to go back and spend more time shopping for beautiful things. And yeah, I'd say those are some of my favorite places.
Yeah, such vibrant cultures in those places too. Like
I love a culture shock.
Yeah, it's the smells, the sounds, the colors, like everything is so different.
Sensory, that's what I love that extreme culture shock where you're just like immersed in this completely different world.
Which I love. I was recently in Bali, and I was just like, it's when you land and it's the life is so different from what you know of your day to day. You're just like, people live like this. Like we were up in the mountains and it was gorgeous, and you're just like, this is their day to day. And it creates obviously such an appreciation for your life, but also the stories and the way that people live, and you get to learn all of those things. And I love it so much.
Totally.
There's no better education.
Exactly. I totally agree. Yeah. Do you guys know how many countries you've done? Have you counted this?
No, we need to.
That's a fun exercise.
Yeah, we need to.
We're due to actually, like, my Dean's mom is probably listening to this right now and thinking, I have asked these guys for a map.
She's asked us for a map of all the places.
Oh, cool. You guys should get one of those, like, you can, like, pin, or she can get one of those, and you can, like, pin them.
To do that.
It's a fun present, actually.
We definitely need to do that.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, what are your favorite places? Like, we haven't answered that question.
Northern Brazil, where Fernando's from, which is so interesting because this is a place that, you know, we go to these national parks in Canada growing up, right?
Yep.
So the national park that's 2 hours from the city where Fernando grew up is one of the most incredible places. It's one of the natural wonders of the world.
Oh, amazing.
You can pronounce it.
The Lençóis.
The Lençóis.
It is quite beautiful.
It's all of these natural sand dunes that have formed along the ocean.
Yes,
and they
the sand dunes in Brazil are
those with the blue lagoon.
I went dune buggying on the sand dunes in Brazil, and it was like
incredible,
magic.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So
and I love Jaipur. Jaipur is
it's beautiful.
Just like we went to the stone cutter for the jewelry is in the old city in Jaipur, in the Pink City. And I just remember walking down the street, and it's like they have the music playing in the speakers on the street, and the women in the saris and the cows and just everything. It's just like this incredible sensory overload.
Yeah, the most like magical chaos.
I love Japan. Kyoto is such a beautiful romantic city.
Opposite of the chaos, because Japan has organized chaos. It's like so perfectly run, and the train is like on time. I remember it was like 2 seconds late when I was there, and they were like, "We apologize for the delay." I'm like, "This is amazing."
Yes.
And
tried it to TC.
Exactly. What's on the bucket list for you guys in terms of, are there certain properties or hotels that you've been eyeing, or places that you're like, we really want to go, and that would be a beautiful experience for us?
This is such a great question. Yeah, there is a few.
I know we're trying to actually decide where, because we choose a destination every year that we are inspired for a collection, our fashion collection. So we actually were just chatting about the other day, what is our next destination that we're going to be inspired by?
Yes,
I think
and that's for 2027,
2027
spring
yeah.
that we're working on right now. So we do a bit of legwork before we actually go on the trip, and then when we get there, we finalize all of the ideas and add any concept to the collection or anything like that.
And what is the destination that you have in your mind?
It's
I think we're going to the Philippines. We have a department store there that carries the collection.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Rustin's. It's like the whole run-through of.
They're celebrating their 85th anniversary this year, next year. So we might do like a personal appearance trunk show kind of thing, and then
that's cool.
Visit the islands.
I love that you do this as like an inspiration trip.
Yes.
And then the collection's inspired by that, because what a beautiful way to like incorporate the personal love of travel with the like professional work.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
We love a destination with like really beautiful blue like water and like crazy amazing landscape, because that inspires the gemstones that we choose. And those gemstones are like, I think that it's such a big part of our DNA, like the gemstone work, which is all done in Jaipur. It's all done by hand. It takes like, it's hours of work. It's almost like an art that's, it might not be here for much longer, right? Like it's really hard to get the younger generation to want to do that. So this tradition is so beautiful, and we get to work with all these beautiful blues and greens and bright, vivid colors. So going to places like that, like we start dreaming already, like, ooh, are we gonna work with turquoise or green amethyst, or that's kind of how it leads. And then as we get into it and doing more research, we start learning about the local craftsmanship and if there are very specific things about like the geography and the architecture and whatnot, and that kind of translates into the design.
This conversation showing me how much goes into designing pieces, and this is what's so beautiful about it, because I love what you said, that the younger generation or people are not necessarily appreciating the art of something. It's like working with your hands and all these beautiful ancient practices and the way that things were done before, and obviously machines can take over now, but there's something so beautiful about that, and there's a story behind it, which I think is so special. And so it's just really nice to see all of that thought and care and work that goes into this like bracelet or this ring. It's so much more than just jewelry.
Yes,
we start like a year and a half in advance of these collections launching, so it's like all of that thought that goes into every single piece takes months and months of refining to get to that. And then there's the craftsmanship itself, the pieces being made that
we say this all the time, like the jewelry is just a medium, but it's really about community, right? And connection. Like we create these pieces, but there is like from the point of like it being designed and made, and then to the end user who is like attributing feelings, and like they're so excited, and there's story and meaning. This whole thing, it's like just incredible. So we feel very blessed, like to be able to do that. And
well, you're totally right, because you put on a necklace or you put something on, it can completely change the way that you feel, the way that you present yourself, the stories you tell about it, or if you're gifting it to someone. And so it is so much more than that. And I think jewelry especially has that meaning for people.
So it's very personal.
Exactly.
It's the closest thing to your skin, right? It's
You're
like,
right. Yeah.
So it's like it's part of you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you put like you put those pieces on every single day, and they all have meaning. So
okay, let's go back to the Anna Wintour letter. Tell me about that, because you mentioned that, and I want to hear about that. So tell me what that was.
Yeah. So when I first, shortly after I launched in Winfrey, I went straight to New York, and I sang with an agency there, and we were featured in all of the major American publications, In Style, Cosmopolitan, and Vogue, I think 2 or 3 times. And I remember the agency called me one day, and I said, I think we're getting a feature like in Vogue. We don't know what it is, because they obviously don't give out any secrets until it actually launches. And it ended up that they used the jewelry throughout the whole 6-page spread and on the cover of the magazine.
And I think Dean, when he told me the story back when, he mentioned that they told him like, they pulled pieces, but
Yeah.
honestly, if it gets featured, just so you know, it's often styled with like so much
Well, it's,
because it's
there's like a stack
editorial.
of bracelets,
Yeah,
and
so
yours
it's
is
like
like,
one of.
yeah, you
One.
can't
Yep.
really see.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it was only our jewelry throughout the whole spread,
Oh,
in
that's
multiple
incredible.
Yeah,
what
that's
a
pretty-
amazing
Yeah.
surprise.
pieces.
Yes.
So I gifted Anna and the two senior editors that worked in the story the pieces from the story, and so she sent me this beautiful note saying that she was thrilled that I was as happy with the April issue as she was.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that classic Anna Wintour note that you see all of these like
Mhm.
Is this framed somewhere?
It's-
it is.
yeah, I have it on my
We're
desk.
gonna make
I
sure
have-
that you get
Yeah, that's so
footage of that.
special.
Mhm.
Wow. That must have been such a moment of just feeling like everything you work for, you know, you
Yeah.
get, I guess it's like equivalent to, it's like the Oscars or the, like, because, you know,
Absolutely.
you're working for this stuff. And
Yeah.
obviously you hear testimonials from people about how much they love your jewelry, but you kind of just,
Mhm.
that feels like validation a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I made it.
It's amazing too.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have a few of those moments, right, where you can't even.
Yes.
I remember a few years ago I watched the Tiffany documentary, and they talked about the history of the brand, all the significant moments. It was like the heads of state that wore when they wore Tiffany, and we've had those moments. And Sophie Trudeau, when Sophie and Justin went to Washington for the visit with the Obamas, when Sophie stepped off the plane, she was wearing all Dean Davidson.
Oh my
When she
gosh.
sat down at the official state dinner, she was wearing our jewelry.
Wow.
There was all of these, so those things where it's just like you can't, you know, we've had a lot of big moments with celebrities as well. And it's just you're watching the SAG Awards and somebody steps out to present an award and they're wearing your earrings, you know, and it's that you jump.
That's incredible.
We talk about jump
It's
up and
the
down
jump
because
up and
you
down.
just.
Do you jump up and down?
Yes.
We have jumped up and down.
Of like,
I love it. I feel like
happiness.
I would not expect that from
No,
you guys,
no.
but
We
I feel
celebrate.
We get
like
pretty excited.
It's you know, we just get so excited.
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
You should get so
we get
excited.
Yeah.
we get
I
excited
love
about
that.
everything, and I would say like it's so important because this is the stuff that you obviously want to share, and that it's so exciting and that pushes you forward. But on the day to day, you're like it's so stressful, right?
Yep.
You're
It
dealing
is.
with the
Yeah.
stress of like running a business.
You don't
and-
see, like, I think people see the outside and it all
Absolutely.
looks very glamorous, right?
Yeah.
Like you're living this, but yeah, there's a lot of stress that in running a business, right?
Yes.
And
And
it's,
everything is like that, where there's things that seem so glamorous. And that's
Mhm.
literally why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's so easy to think that
Mhm.
you have it all figured out and it's so put
Mhm.
together and you guys are so put together and they've made it and it's
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
there's so much that goes on behind the
Oh
scenes
my
that people
gosh.
don't even see, from the highs of celebrating and jumping up and down to the
Yes.
lows that might
Mhm.
not feel so
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and you learn the most during those low
During the
times,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I think that and Dean has heard this from someone who, Alexis Bitar, who is a well-known designer who's done incredible and kind of like opened the path for like this category of jewelry that we create. He said to Dean earlier on, like, you know, just so you know, it would never feel like you made it.
Yeah, he's.
And that is it is such a
Oh,
truthful
yes.
statement.
Mhm.
It is such a truthful
Mhm.
statement.
You just never
You
feel
never.
there's never a
you're
day that
always-
you sit there and you're like, oh, great. It's
I've accomplished it. It's
I
like
absolutely agree with that. And I
Mm.
think it's so fascinating. I think that's part of why I'm so fascinated to have these conversations with people who seemingly have made it and people think,
Mhm.
oh, they've made it. And
Yeah.
I actually had that as one of my questions was, what's the moment that you felt like you made it? And that's so interesting because you have this Anna Wintour moment, you have celebrities wearing your jewelry, like
Yeah.
there's probably people that have worn it that you're like, whoa, I would have
Mhm.
never expected that. But yet there's still something more that you want to do, achieve, work towards. It's always a moving target,
Yeah,
I feel like.
absolutely.
It is. That's what drives you. That's what keeps you
Yes.
going, right?
Yeah, because if you felt like you made it, you'd be like, great, I'm done.
Yeah.
no,
It is,
it's
yeah.
it's ever growing. And I think that we feel so like fortunate for everything
Mhm.
that, you know, like a lot of moments that are not glamorous, like you're really working hard and
Yeah.
we try to remember like it's I mean everyone is human and there's always frustration, right? But we think about like how blessed we are to live this life, right?
Yeah.
You're doing something you're passionate about.
Mhm.
You're selling jewelry, you're creating a beautiful product, you're giving people the opportunity to connect through this that is a wonderful job.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we work
And-
with we work with jewelry every day.
Yeah.
Right, and these people like you, it's incredible to see how it affects people and the confidence it brings to their lives, how it makes them feel.
Absolutely.
It brings
So it
joy.
is.
Like
Totally.
but I think when we walk into our space and we have our dog welcome us at the door and we put our bags down, I think that is the moment where we feel like we never feel like we have made it, but we feel this is what we do all of this for. You know? It's so just wonderful, like that silence, no great glam big thing. It's
the
just
simple moments of your day-to-day life that make it all worth it and beautiful. And yeah, that's really nice.
It's never felt like a day of work for me from day one.
I love that.
It's just been fun. You
and
know,
that's
like
what keeps you going then,
Yeah.
because you do love it and you have a passion for it. But obviously there are things that probably keep you guys up at night sometimes or stress you out. So what are those things on your mind right now that feel stressful for you?
Black Friday.
It's very real and very immediate. So yeah, fair.
That's right now. But
anyone doing any sort of retail or products, like I get it. This is the time.
It's
it is. This is like the holidays, especially in the jewelry industry, right? And this is the time. Gifting is huge.
But like things like cash flow and
managing a team of people.
Yep.
Right. It's like people don't understand, right? That is one of the most stressful parts of owning a business.
Absolutely.
Is running. Like we have 16 people that we manage and interact with on a daily basis. So that is also stressful, and there's just timelines in being on top of everything, right? It's this big machine that's always evolving and changing, and you have to kind of be ahead of it in order to guide it properly. And there's lots of things that you feel like it's going off the rails all the time, but as long as you can kind of keep it in this, you're just molding it as it grows. But it is, and the biggest part of this is the business and running the business. I think a lot of people think that we're designing all the time.
You're like, it's not that glamorous.
No,
you're like, go back to those days of 5 hours crafting a beautiful
Yes.
bracelet. Like you wish you could spend that time doing that, but there's a lot of other stuff that needs to happen.
It's shifted for me. I think my passion for this shifted into the business aspect of it and learning to love that.
Yep.
Right, and so it is. It's just it's a lot of stress involved in just managing the day to day.
Yeah, I'm always amazed that Dean can wear all these hats, right? And typically, like a very creative brain isn't necessarily business minded, or you know, and without the training too. But he's always just like his curiosity and just like determination to like learn and always keep the needle moving is like, and I feel like over the last 10 years since we've been together and seen the business grow, he's shifted into that CEO position a lot more like organically than into anything else, right? Like you really see the leader that has become and still very much present in all areas and involved in everything, but way more than the design aspect of it, right? Which is what most people would assume.
Right, exactly. But it takes years to then build it to the point that it is. But it's the same that you dove like head first into figuring out how to create beautiful jewelry at the beginning. So doing that and the curiosity for that, it only makes sense that now you're then doing it for the business side as well, because you're like, you want something to grow. And if you're a naturally curious person, then it makes sense that you're then giving your all into that piece of it too.
Totally.
I want to chat with you guys a bit more about what your day-to-day life looks like, even personally. So I know you live in the east end of Toronto. Is there a favorite day that you have? I know you've mentioned moments of obviously being at home and just sharing a bottle of wine and unwinding, but if you could like spend a day together where maybe you're not thinking about work, what would that ideal day be for you in the city, in your home, really?
We love the East End, and we love our neighborhoods, in particular, Leslieville. We've moved to Leslieville about a year and a half ago, and I think we spend a lot of our time in that area with our dog, waking up, there's our favorite Mercury,
There's
our
like
coffee
little
shop that we go
rituals,
to.
yeah.
And
Like on a Saturday morning, because we don't have to be at a place at a time, we will, and Mercury has like that patio there.
Yeah, it's
So
cute.
we'll walk our dog and we'll sit with him in the patio and we
Aw.
get coffees and chill with him, smother him with so much love.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of like walk down the street and stop in every little shop and
yeah.
you know, get the kimchi from the special store over
Smoked
here,
salmon.
smoked salmon from that store, and then like make our way home and kind of create a little brunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute because I feel the same way. I also live in the East End, love Leslieville for that exact reason. Because you can
Yes.
pop into all the little shops. I mean, how
Love
many
it.
times I've run
Oh
into
my
you
gosh,
guys,
yes.
our
Yeah.
Nut Bar. We're
Bar,
always at Nut Bar
Yes.
getting a smoothie.
Yes.
We're like, take all our money,
Yes.
Nut Bar. We love it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's been fun to run into you guys, but it is that sense of community. And I do feel like it's charming and it makes you just feel like you're living in a little fairy tale because you can
Yes.
go into all the shops and when it's decorated for the holidays or it's just super cute. I do a lot of my shopping locally as well and it makes you want to buy local.
Absolutely.
It's just so fun to go to the local cheese producer, the local wherever. It's great.
We have everything.
We
right
love
there.
that.
And it's just slow. I think that's the time
Yes.
we have a very hectic life.
Yes.
We travel on a plane somewhere every month. So it's like just to come back to this really beautiful setting, calm, quiet, where we can just kind of be.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what we appreciate the most.
And I think the neighborhood and like the lifestyle there, it actually sets us up for a really great week. All like from Monday to Sunday, like
Yeah.
we have, like we go to the gym every day, and Dean sits at Mercury and reads the paper before then, and like there is like a little routine that we do before we get to work, and that I think also because we're constantly talking to people, right? Like
Yes.
the people you work with, and then my day job really at the business is in the wholesale department. It's where it all started, and so I'm connecting with these accounts and with sales reps and all of that. And so you want to give your all, you want to be present, you want to be 100%. And I think having a really great day before you even get to that, it's so key. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I'm all about the like simple rituals. I love that you read the paper and take that time for yourself because it's so important. Then you're pouring your all into the business or into other people. And so to have that is really important. And how do you guys feel about your phones? What's your relationship like with technology and your phones? Do you find that because, running a business, you can be on all the time if you choose to be. It's very hard to like physically separate yourself just because it's right there and you have access to it. So how do you have to create boundaries for yourself? Do you feel like you have a healthy relationship with your phone and you're fine?
I think that's a New Year's resolution.
I love
I
that.
think
This
that's
year.
been most people's resolution for the past 10 years.
Yes.
Some kind of boundaries with the phone, but it's challenging, right? Because we do. I mean, there's a double-edged sword because it's wonderful that we can actually function through our phones now, and we can be anywhere in the world and managing the business.
Yes.
So there's a big plus to it, but then the opposite side of it is that we're tied to this device, right?
At all times, yeah.
I think finding that balance where there is time where we just take it away, maybe you don't take it to the bedroom or you don't, but we're not there yet. We're still attached to both of us.
Yeah.
But I think that would be, and that's something I've often thought about is like in the future is just finding that balance where you have some time away every day, just to give your mind a rest.
Yeah. It's probably why you guys love travel so much too, because when you are immersed in a different place and you're exploring, like you're not pulling your phone out when you're in the middle of the streets of Jaipur. You're not going to be pulling your phone out because you're so stimulated by your environment and everything
and
around
the time
you.
difference too. Like
I love a time difference.
So,
It's
you
my
get to enjoy
favorite.
your whole life before the world.
You wake up and
I literally love it. When we were in Australia and Bali, it was like my favorite thing to wake up and be like, oh, the rest of the world's sleeping, and I'm like on a different time zone. You really do feel like you're experiencing a different life, and just that time difference gives you the permission to be like, I don't need to get back to this right away.
That's the perfect break.
Yeah,
and it's
when we can go back to that group of friends that we travel with too. That's another thing that we rarely pull out our phones.
It's so nice.
It's just, we're just having great conversation.
Exactly, and that's what happens when you naturally have that. You're less likely to look at it. So it's about like filling your life with the things that make you happy and fulfilled. Whereas when you're at home, it's so much easier to be like, oh, it's right there. So yeah, I always say gatherings and gathering around a table or a dinner, it just allows you to be present. And that's what's so beautiful. That's why everyone loves it, because you're naturally not on your phone.
Yes.
So, well, on that note, thank you guys for being in the room with me today. This was so fun. Thanks for inviting me into your boutique, for the beautiful jewelry that I got to wear for this. I love these pieces, and yeah, thank you for being so open and present.
And congratulations.
Yes,
for
congratulations on
this incredible, initiative, and I think it's going to be awesome. We're so proud to be.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you. And I'll see you at Nut Bar.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with someone you love, leave a review so that others can discover these beautiful stories and experiences too. You can find me and learn more about the show at palakdave.com, where the conversation continues beyond this episode. See you in the room next time, where life is lived and stories are shared. Take care.